the line.
He's going to get down here first.
Look at Andrew Tate flying. Deck to deck. And heading to Tire Factory turn number 2, that would be Dustin Eccles in the 440 bucket list.
And he came by here pretty quick, Michael, and he's back down the back straightaway, but he looked very smooth and quick coming through turn 1 and 2. Back to you.
Yeah, owned by Sharon and Kelly Stockland. Dustin Eccles in the 440 bucket list racing. Let's head down to our A1 refrigeration pit crew, Brad Luce.
Yes, Michael McDonald, you do have Dustin Eccles up at the top end of the race course in the 440 bucket list racing, and joining him now on the water is the 1918, the brightly colored mylar wrapped Oberto, Jeff Bernard behind the wheel. And for our fans that were here last year and watched the Miss Home Street race here a year ago, this is that boat. The Home Street boat that we'll see is the new boat that they christened here a year ago, but didn't race it. This is the boat that the Home Street crew raced in the 2018 HAPO Columbia Cup, and they brought it back. It is sponsored by the Oberto Special Feeds Company. It's the U1918, same as it was a year ago, but it's a different hull this time and a different driver, Jeff Bernard behind the wheel. And Jeff hasn't raced here for a while, but he is a qualified driver because every year back in Detroit, he makes sure he gets some laps in, and he even ran a heated competition a year ago. So he makes sure he keeps his license current, and right now he is flying down the front straightaway. And the boat is just solid as a rock as he gets to the interest pin. Kelly, he's really moving.
He looked very well this morning when he was down here the first time, and he's got this boat dialed in right now as he comes to the exit pin down the back straightaway. Very smooth, very quick. He's looked quick all morning.
And Brad, maybe you can let us know. I'm going to go out on a limb here and say the Home Street boat might be making an appearance on the river sooner rather than later because we have a couple of the crew members here on the broadcast barge.
That is always a good sign, and the other telltale sign is I've got the corral one level above me, and so the radio man will go up there as well. I can usually tell who's coming by who walks up above me. Here comes
as the Oberto made the turn, the sunlight hit it just right, and it reflected some of that green and red right into my eyes. It was very interesting because for a second I thought the Washington State Patrol had sent out their rescue boat or something with the lights on and the siren going.
Hey, Michael, did you get a speed on that lap? Anything pop up?
No, we're not getting anything out of the monitor from upstairs right now, but we're hooked up. We just haven't received any kind of times yet.
All right, well, I got radio plugged in down here. Maybe
we'll find something out.
157 for Jeff on that one. This boat, remember, last year in testing turned a 163. That was when it was Jimmy Shane and the Home Street. But boy, and Michael, when he comes off the corner, look at the boat ride he gets. This thing is so stable on the water, and you can really see the air going underneath it.
And it's a beautiful boat. I mean, the colors are just absolutely, I mean, they're flying off it. It's got that shimmering paint on there. And it's another boat that the city of Madison, Indiana owns.
It is.
Looks very smooth all 3 times around now, and coming out of turn down the back straightaway. And you're right, Brad. He just looks so smooth, dialed in, has a lot of speed on this boat. He can probably go a little higher than what he did that last lap you were talking about.
Yeah, he just turned another 157.7, so he's pretty consistent there. And you mentioned Madison, Indiana, and you're correct, Michael. This boat is owned by the citizens of Madison, Indiana on the Ohio River, where we had the American Powerboat Association Gold Cup just a few weeks ago, and Jimmy Shane was victorious, winning his 4th Gold Cup in the Miss Home Street.
That's right, and so, Brad, you touched on it. Coming into this weekend, we have Andrew Tate with a victory, Jimmy Shane with a victory. Obviously, those are the 2 boats to watch, but after a run like that, the Oberto is going to be something to keep an eye on. We always we always get a one or two, maybe, I don't want to say surprises, but boats that have really overperform on the Columbia River too. So we stand to have a great show this weekend.
Well, he turned that last lap at 159 miles an hour, so flirting with that 160 mark. And also really good news now, up the backstretch, your first boat going up there is the U99.9. Darrell Strong presents PayneWest Insurance. This is the brand new hydroplane, and the boat did get out in the water this morning. They were unable to get the boat started. They have pulled it back, put it on the trailer, and this is the first lap ever for Brian Perkins in that brand new hydroplane. Michael, you've got him right there to your left.
Yeah, he's coming off of our turn number 4 with our Buffalo Brothers fans that are getting set up down there. Best fans on the hydroplane racing circuit, and coming across the start finish line now with Brian Perkins. And you notice on that back fairing, the back wing, it's the checkered flag, and that's what they'll be looking for all weekend long.
And Brad, that 159 that was just turned in, you said it was flirting with 160. That is the fastest time so far of any boat this morning.
Well, that's interesting. So our fast lap so far, 159. Jeff Bernard. And you were talking about that boat being a player here this weekend. Oh, they certainly are. And Jeff Bernard, you want to talk about an accomplished driver. This guy knows how to drive a race boat, and once he understands this hull and gets his sea legs to where he really can understand the race boat, trust me, he drives boats all over the country all the time. But once he feels confident in this boat as the weekend wears on, you give him an open lane in the final, and he is going to let her fly. And he's going to bring that 1918 back to the pit area. And I had a conversation with Larry Oberto in Guntersville, Alabama, when he was telling me about this project coming together for the Oberto sponsorship, as Brian Perkins got a little loose on the front end.
Yes, he did.
Dancing on that sponson, and he's light getting down here. But I'll tell you what, not bad for a first time out on the race course. Kelly got him right in front of you.
Takes a little wide turn out into turn 2, and he looked pretty smooth at times. Still dancing on the sponsons, but exits very well. Trying to pick up speed as he goes back down the straightaway to you, Mike.
Tire Factory turn number 2, the Michelin Tire Experts, top-notch service too. It's Tire Factory, 2 locations in Pasco and in Richland. Heading up to turn number 3, Brian Perkins, turn 3, thanks to Freedom Rentals. Freedom Equipment Rentals, truly locally owned and operated there in Pasco. And Perkins looks just flat out nice on the water. The one thing I'll say about the 1918 Oberto, it's not flashy except for the paint job. It's just a solid ride on the river, and 159, the best lap that we saw.
Yeah, 141 for Brian Perkins on his. Just to finish on that commentary I had with Larry Oberto in Guntersville, he said, oh yeah, we're going to wrap it with that reflective stuff. The second buoy in our turn down here, turn number 1, our second buoy is gone. It is floating down the river.
Uh-oh.
Brian stayed a long ways away from it. It's almost drifted all the way to the outside course markers, but he's aware that it's not there.
Yeah, he came down that time, turn 1, very tight to the exit pin. Looked very good coming through there, and head back your way.
On our schedule, we have testing until 10:45 this morning, and the HAPO Over the River Air Show will start at 11 a.m.
That'll be fun. That's something that, even if you're not down at the river when the time happens, you know, for the air show, you can see the planes. They take such wide turns around much of the Tri-Cities. It's pretty cool.
Special thanks to our friends at Canyon Lakes Golf Course, providing our onshore transportation with the golf carts. Canyon Lakes Golf Course, why play the rest when you can play the best? Along with our official apparel sponsor, Atomic Screen Print and Embroidery. They have the official Waterfollies, H1 Unlimited, and vintage shirts, hats, and more on both sides of the Columbia River. Our vignettes brought to you by Legends Casino in Toppenish, giving away $2 million in cash and prizes in 2019. And don't forget, after our coverage here on the river, back at the studios with Ed Dawson, the Hydro Wrap-Up Show, thanks to IBEW Local 112, the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, actively looking for career-oriented licensed electricians to serve communities in Southeast Washington and Northeast Oregon. That's IBEW Local 112. Also thanks to Derwin and the crew at All Doors Incorporated for service, repair, and installation of all automatic and manual entry systems. All Doors Incorporated. So Brian Perkins still in the Freedom Equipment Rental, turn number 3, into Buffalo Brothers, turn number 4. And you can see Rattlesnake Mountain in the backdrop. And it was about two and a half weeks ago that well, you can see it's a different color. Most of it was burned, over 40,000 acres in the Cold Creek fire. And thankfully, nobody was injured in that blaze. And fire crews put it out, but we have smoky conditions because of the blaze burning in Klickitat County.
Yeah, down near the Bickleton area, and well, there's a few fires burning around the region. Nothing, you know, in the immediate region, but again, with the wind drifts, we get a little bit of that haze out there.
So Brian Perkins heading across the Bosch Thermador start-finish line down the front stretch.
And Michael, is he headed back to the pit area?
I believe he's going to turn your way, Brad.
I have stepped off the pit tower. I'd like to get a word with Brian when he comes back and get first impressions of the brand new toy.
So Brian Perkins heading back to the Neil F. Lamson pits. Just a reminder, after you park in the park, or maybe even on the Pasco side, you're going to be needing something like a car wash from Jiffy.
Probably.
Keep it spiffy at Jiffy. They even have monthly passes with unlimited washes for a full month. Follow them on Rose Nest. And our friends at Ice Harbor Brewery, come on down to the river and enjoy your Ice Harbor faves on tap and a full bar too at Ice Harbor Brewery at the marina on Clover Island. Take a time out. More of our coverage coming up. HAPO Columbia Cup and Over the River Air Show. 610 KONA, 610KONA.com.
the 2019 HAPO Columbia Cup. Presented by Farmers Exchange on 610 KONA. Here is Michael McDonald.
Special thanks to our friends at Farmers Exchange, 215 West Canal Drive in downtown Kennewick. Time to order your snow blowers now. They're actually putting in orders for snow blowers on what could be the second hottest day of July, Ed.
Well, if anybody remembers,
Yeah, I do. February and
yeah, I was going to
March.
say pretty much all of February, then yeah, that makes sense.
It all comes with the best service that you can find anywhere with free pickup and delivery in the Tri-Cities. It's Farmers Exchange. And don't forget their feed store, too. I mean, they've got everything that you could possibly want inside the store. One-stop livestock and pet food shopping for you with Purina premium feed and grains. Whatever you need for your lawn as far as fertilizers, they've got everything. So stop by Farmers Exchange and all the local knowledge that you need to make sure that you do it right. And online, it's mowerhome.com. Also, thanks to everybody in turn number 1. Thanks to AgriService. Experience better product offerings and support from AgriService's dedicated team, carrying a wide variety of AGCO products and a whole lot more, including Fendt tractors. Let's head over to Tire Factory turn number 2. Kelly Cheatwood in our Freedom Equipment Rentals lift. And I have to say that may be one of the largest pieces of equipment that we've ever had in turn 2.
Yeah, if I could ever get a recliner or a couch, we could have a lot of fun up here. It's kind of nice to be up a little bit, and there is a little bit of a breeze as you go up a little higher, so that kind of makes it even nicer. But what a beautiful day. People coming in and families setting up, and that's what's neat about this whole thing, the family experience, to watch people come in and have fun with the kids and go down the river and just have a good time. But the water looks pretty calm right now. No boats out there.
Nope.
But
any boats in the river that you can see over from the pit side?
I think there's one boat sitting over there, and my eyesight's not as good as it used to be, but there's one sitting there.
Yes, Brad?
I know I'm breaking up just a little, but the...
always face the tower, Brad.
I'm facing the tower.
Good.
But Perkins has just gotten back here to the dock in the Darrell Strong presents PayneWest Insurance after the maiden voyage, if you will, and I'm anxious to get a word with him here for a second. His comments on how he likes the new toy.
Well, Brad, it looked pretty smooth.
It did, and he's having a conversation with Mike Hansen right now across the water. He's talking from the dock to the pit area about something, but let's see if we can get a word with him here. Brian, first of all, welcome back to the Tri-Cities. Always good to be here.
It's always good to be here. We love the Tri-Cities.
And this has been quite a project to get this boat on the water. You finally got a chance to take it for a ride. First impressions?
I think it's going to be something real good. It's not bad right now. We just got to work on some things, but it drives straight. It corners good. We just have a piece that was left out on the race course, so we need to go find.
Oh, and what's that piece?
Well, it's bright orange and goes right on the bottom of the cockpit.
Oh, that's not a good piece to lose. How are you? Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm all right.
Are you soaking wet?
I'm definitely wet, yeah.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, that's not a good thing. So, all right. So, aside from that issue, we get the hatch. Everything's good there. What do you guys do now? Where do you start? You've got a baseline now, but where do you go first?
First thing is we got to get that hatch. I mean, we can't run without that, obviously, but now we need to go back and look at our gear ratios and our N2 and see where that is. The boat's carrying the right side a little bit. I want to watch some videotape from the shore and see if that is the same as what I'm feeling. You know, we have a lot of guys watching a lot of different things and a lot of video cameras and things, and you can kind of cross-reference what you feel. So I want to do that, kind of steady the boat ride a little bit. Being as this thing's brand new, we don't know what it likes. We don't know really what it wants to do yet. And so we're going to look at that, see if we can maybe tame that side down, hopefully get to go back out. But we just got to find that door.
It's not without a hatch. That's not going to be good. Well, I'll let you get back to the crew, but it's good to see you back out on the water. As I said, this has been a long project. It's got to feel good to have that first run in the rearview mirror.
It does. It's been a long time coming. This boat's been 10 years under construction. I know the O'Farrells, I mean, he's been just drooling to get this thing in the water. And, I mean, we all have. There have been a lot of hours. Everybody from Ron Jones, Mike Hansen, Dale Van Wirgen. I mean, he's had everybody working on this thing. So I think everybody that's had a hand in it is happy to see it go around the course.
We'll go find some dry clothes, and we'll talk to you later on after another run with a hatch.
I look forward to it.
All right, Brian Perkins, thank you very, very much.
Hey, Brad.
And wait, they just pulled the boat out of the water here, and yep, There's a particular appendage. As you look at the underside of the boat, right below the cockpit, there would be a hatch door there if it was correct, and it's gone.
Can they borrow one from another boat, or are they all the same?
I don't know. I don't know if that's something that I'll chase that down.
Brad, I'm wondering, maybe not, but do we know if the missing hatch is any way associated with the loose buoy that we had?
Apparently not.
Okay.
Apparently it didn't have anything to do with that.
Okay.
So there's smiles down here, but they're dead right now until they find a hatch.
Yeah, there's major concern.
Yeah, and that can be really, really dangerous. It's happened, I know, a couple of times in the past to other drivers, specifically Chip Hanauer comes to mind. It's happened to him on a couple of occasions, and he said, you know, when the boat's running and you lose the hatch, actually, you're okay. It's not a big problem until you slow down.
Oh, then water starts coming in.
Water starts coming up, and we don't need to take the graphic much further, but it would not be a good thing inside the cockpit there. And Brian wears that all-black driving suit, and when I asked him if he was wet, I was putting my hand on it. All of a sudden, I realized the guy's just soaking wet. So,
and it wasn't just perspiration then.
No. No, so they'll go to work on it, and I'm sure they'll come up with something. We'll see them back on the water, but a pretty impressive first run, I think.
All right. Well, one of the features that we do and have done for quite some time on our broadcasts is vignettes, stories about waterfallies, whether it's waterfallies in the past, what we're looking forward to this weekend. And Jenna Kokenauer with News Radio 610 KONA has put a number of those together. And thanks to our friends at Legends Casino, we have Legends of the Waterfallies. We'll bring one of those reports to you here coming up in just a few moments. That forecast again, thanks to Anderson Dental, online at KennewickSmiles.com. Calling for hazy sunshine today. We'll look for temperatures in the upper 90s, pushing 100 degrees with light winds mainly out of the southwest at about 5 to 8 miles per hour today. The problem tomorrow is the temperature drops into the low 90s, would be in the afternoon with the potential of winds up to almost 20 miles per hour. And that's not sustained. That would be your highest wind speed. And we'll keep our eyes on that. But much cooler temperatures, down about 8 degrees from what we're expecting today. And then on Sunday, upper 80s expected, but the winds really calm down.
Well, that's the thing, is if you have sustained winds at 18 or above, then they can, you know, postpone racing because it's dangerous. It's the gusts that get up to there, because you can't predict a gust of wind, and a boat goes around a corner or is walking on the sponsons coming down the straightaway at top speed, and then before you know it, you're flying.
79 degrees right now at the Pasco Tri-Cities Airport. Thanks on our broadcast to Anderson Dental. Nearly 2 decades in South Kennewick, maintaining, creating, and saving smiles online. It's KennewickSmiles.com, or call 585-2500. The DMZ through the middle of our course when we get to racing action later this afternoon with some Dash for Cash races, brought to you by ESCO Electric. They're your local electrical specialists serving the region since 1972, ESCO Electric. And don't forget, it's Clover Island Inn, your in-town destination resort with all kinds of great concerts out on the island. Columbia Basin Paper and Supply since 1947, paper and janitorial needs and residential cleaners and a whole lot more available for you in Pasco, 515 West Columbia. Call 547-3141, proudly celebrating 72 years. American Transmission, you know, with warm temperatures, the heat is what destroys your transmission. American Transmission, check them out. They'll help you make sure your vehicle is prepared for your road trip on vacation. SS Equipment, your perfect match for the right equipment. Big savings for your farming operation, SS Equipment. Along with our friends at Highlands Organic Market, reminding you to drink plenty of water and reapply sunscreen when you're out in the heat this summer, especially here at Waterfallies. We'll take a time out. More coverage of the HAPO Columbia Cup and HAPO Over the River Air Show coming up on News Radio 610 KONA and 610KONA.com. Thanks to Farmers Exchange.
This month, Northern Quest is giving away four 4x4 Ford by
Follies brings the best in hydroplane racing to the waters of the Columbia River in the Tri-Cities. And for many years, the Water Follies has also included the HAPO Over the River Air Show. Historic planes and daring acrobatics fill the skies above the Columbia River each day starting at 11:30 in the morning. The HAPO Over the River Air Show includes the Aircraft Erickson Collection, based out of Madras, Oregon. This unique collection includes more than 20 rare and vintage aircraft. You'll see the Grumman F6F Hellcat, Grumman FM2 Wildcat, and a pair of yellow acrobatic planes that make up the Yellow Thunder team, piloted by Canadian brothers David and Mark Watson. Enjoy the breathtaking twists and turns from pilot Rennie Price, known as one of the world's greatest acrobatic pilots. Mark Peterson flies the blue and gold Alpha Jet, and you'll also see the T-6 Texan, an aircraft used as part of the Army Aviation Training Program. And Lucas Oil Air Shows features the bright orange biplane piloted by Michael Wiskus. Michael first got his pilot's license at the age of 17 and is qualified to fly more than 40 different types of aircraft. He has some history with this plane.
I've been flying this one for 20 years. I've had it all over the world. I was on the United States Aerobatic team and traveled to Sweden with it and a couple other places. We've had it everywhere from Hawaii to Sweden. I bought it 20 years ago wrecked, totally destroyed off of eBay, which is kind of strange in itself. I bought it from an insurance company. Totally rebuilt the airplane and made a lot of modifications on it the way that I wanted the airplane to be. After 20 years, when I strapped myself into that airplane and cinched it really tight, it's kind of an extension of my personality when I fly. So I don't have to think about pushing the stick or pulling the throttle back or pushing it forward. It's all kind of natural, and this airplane really does become one with me. So it's kind of a neat experience, even for me, to be able to put something on like that. It's just like a shoe. Put it on and walk away. I can actually get the airplane to stop in the air, hover, and then at that point I'll push the stick over, and it takes a little bit of finessing, but I can get the airplane to actually do a forward somersault. It's an extremely aggressive aircraft. It rolls at about 430 degrees per second, which I call a blur. And I start my show at 3,000 feet doing a 5/8 loop to where I'm going straight down, full power, heading right towards the water, and then I kick the right rudder and pull the stick back, and I grit my teeth, and I snap roll down to about 1,000 feet, doing about 200 miles an hour. I stop at that point, looking right at the water, and I pull hard, and I come right down to the surface, pull it vertical again, and spiral up. So yeah, it's quite dramatic, a lot of noise, a lot of smoke, and I'm having more fun than anybody else. But yeah, it's quite a thing to see.
That's pilot Michael Wiskus. See his bright orange Lucas Oil Air Show's biplane during the HAPO Over the River Air Show, starting at 11:30 each day during the 2019 Water Follies and HAPO Columbia Cup, along with News Radio 610 KONA.
Vignettes brought to you by Legends Casino and Hotel. LegendsCasino.com.
Weeknights at 7, The Ben Shapiro Show.
President Trump's question.
HAPO Columbia Cup.
15,854 nautical miles from Earth.
Presented by Farmers Exchange on 610 KONA.
Velocity 15,154 feet per second.
Here is Michael McDonald.
Coverage thanks to Farmers Exchange, News Radio 610 KONA, 610KONA.com. Glad you're along for the ride. Rob Francis joins me here on the Brutzmann's Memorial Barge at the Bosch Thermador Appliance start-finish line. And, you know, we've been talking a little bit, over the last 10 days about Apollo 11 and the 50th anniversary. And we have some amazing stories from people that were here 50 years ago when racing came to a standstill and KONA Radio and ABC News was put over the public address system along the shoreline for that moment that the LEM, the lunar module, actually landed at Tranquility Base.
certainly one of the most incredible accomplishments in the history of mankind, landing on the moon. I wasn't alive for it, so all I have are the stories from my parents who were. And there was a incredible amount of pride throughout the nation when that flag and the pictures of that flag being planted on the moon were transmitted back to NASA headquarters in Houston. And, you know, a lot of people have asked since then why we've given up on that.
Oh, we went back
We went back a number of times, but
went back in '72 with the lunar rover, you know, the buggy.
But after that period of that real intense period of exploration at NASA and the multiple moon landings,
I like the zip flip a whole lot better.
you know, we kind of went in another direction as far as exploration was concerned. And, you know, now, of course, all the talk is we're going to try and go back to the moon at least one more time, and we're going to try and hit Mars. So that spirit of exploration seems to be returning, at least as far as NASA is concerned. So wouldn't it be amazing if, you know, those that are here now in a few years might be able to come back and maybe we hit Mars during a boat race weekend.
Yeah.
In a few years from now.
But honestly, first you have to go back to the moon.
Yes.
And that's where it begins.
Yes. And
again,
there's, you know, it's amazing from what I have read and what I followed on this, the desire to go back to the moon is to see if anything has changed in 50 years. What is there? And apparently from the first trip, one of the things they discovered was there are a number of minerals that exist on the surface of the moon.
And ice.
And ice. But there are a number of minerals that exist on the moon that we do not have a plentiful supply of here on Earth. And to see if there is a bevy of those that we can look back. So basically, we might want to go mine the moon.
Yeah, exactly. Could become semi-lucrative.
Could be.
Hey, special thanks to Farmers Exchange, 215 West Canal Drive in downtown Kennewick, and Gravely, a 3-year warranty on their zero-turn riding mowers, 100 years strong, built to mow the distance with durability, dependability, and operator comfort. That's Gravely zero-turn riding machines available for you at Farmers Exchange. Also, thanks to Kennewick Dental, looking for a dentist that offers quality service. Built-in massage chairs and complimentary movie. While you relax, get your perfect smile. It's Kennewick Dental. Also, Kennewick Auto Body. Whether you need automotive repair, restoration, or painting, they have affordable solutions. Kennewick Auto Body. Pringles. Have a problem with dirt and dust? Pringles, the name you can trust. Pringles Power Vac for furnace and duct cleaning. Along with Knight's Welding. Portable welding, custom fabrication, unique metal arts. Knight's Welding, A Street in Pasco. G2 Construction, proud supporter of the annual Water Follies broadcast and our community. Thinking of building and not sure where to start? Make G2 your first call. G2 Construction. Bob's Burgers and Brew. After the races, head to Bob's. 2 locations in Richland and Kennewick serving the best burgers around. And I hear action coming out of the pits right towards turn 2, Tire Factory. Kelly Jeetwood.
Looks like U11, the reliable diamond tool with Jamie Nilsson on board as he heads back down the back straightaway with that beautiful bright yellow boat coming your way and the orange on the front, red on the front.
That is the U11 J&Ds presented by Reliable Diamond Tool. Jamie Nielsen and Michael, I'll throw it up to you. Did you get a count on how many laps he turned this morning?
Not at all. We just knew that the fast lap was a $1:46.
Okay.
And he needs to be 10 over 130.
Yes, and 15 total. 15 total laps, 10 of which have to be over a $1:30. The $1:30 isn't the issue. He just needs to come out and run and run.
Exactly.
So I'm sure, and it's really nice now because there are no other boats in the water. So he's going to have the course to himself here for a while. The 3 is coming, but
there's 10 more minutes in this session.
Okay.
And then we have air show coming up at 11 a.m.
So Jamie Nielsen comes down here getting his sea legs in this U11 J&Ds presented by Reliable Diamond Tool. And boy, I'm a colorblind guy, but that is bright on the water, Kelly, right in front of you.
Yeah, very bright. You can't miss that boat as he came out of turn 2 down the exit pin. But beautiful paint job on it. And he's been very smooth all morning in the laps he had earlier when he was out here. So trying to get those laps in, but he's driving pretty well.
Anybody want to take a swing at the colors?
At the colors?
Yeah. What color is it?
It's kind of a limon.
I think that's officially highlighter yellow.
How about chartreuse and carnival orange?
Good.
Not only is the name long, so are the colors. Chartreuse and carnival orange. You're pretty enamored with that, Mike, huh?
Kind of like the highlighter.
That works too.
Heading across the Bosch Thermador appliance start finish line down the front stretch. Agri-Service turn number 1. And Glenn Boggin and Brad Luce down to the pits. Our A1 refrigeration pit crew.
Comes a little wide there out of 1 into 2, but he's got smoothness. It looks good all the way around, and I'm not sure what kind of time he's getting, but he seems to be consistent.
145.
Solid.
It's very solid, and I'll tell you what else is different from the first time he ran this morning. There were other boats on the course, so he was running in a little bit of wake every once in a while, and now he's out there by himself, but the boat is absolutely solid on the water. He's getting a much more stable boat ride this time.
And the water, it almost looks a little bit sticky right now.
It does.
Coming across start finish line, Bosch Thermador, and Brad will get a time down to the pits. Unfortunately, our monitor is not showing any times right now.
Well, he can't go over 145 because the person who's giving me the speeds only has one hand to hold him up. So if he goes over a 5, and here we come, it's 152.
Wow.
Wow. And you see, he still didn't have to go to the second hand to give me the numbers. So.
Yeah, he stays in this lane number 2. He seems to like that groove he's in right now, and it looks very smooth every time he comes out of 1 to 2 and down the back straightaway.
Well, notice at Kelly, at Tire Factory turn 2 is where we see that slop develop, and it's just laid down perfectly out there.
Oh yeah, it's just smooth, and the wakes go away real quick by the time he gets back down here. So he's got a smooth course to run on.
Up in Buffalo Brothers turn number 4 at the exit pin and onto the front stretch. And just a note, if you might be coming down to Columbia Park, they have been working on a new public address system, and it is not working at this time, so bringing a radio so that you can follow our coverage is mandatory. So make sure that you pack your radio and bring it with you. You can also download the app for iPhone or Android, 610 KONA.
153, guys. 153 on that one.
Well, his lap count is climbing towards that 10 over 130, Brad.
Yeah, it sure is, and maybe this is a good time to bring up something you and I talked about yesterday, Michael, a little bit, and I sent you some information about speeds and time and lanes and so forth, but he's turning a lap at 153, but he's doing it in about lane 2, 2.5, maybe even 3, which means in reality, he's averaging maybe 157, 157.5, because he clearly is driving further than 2.5 miles.
I have the chart that, and it's in 16 font, so I can read it. So if you're in lane number 2, you're adding you need to go about 2 miles an hour faster than you would in lane number 1.
And it's going to be an interesting point when we get a couple of boats out here running side by side.
He's backed off the throttle coming towards you.
Yeah, and it looks like he's going to bring it back to the pit area.
And you should have one more lap.
Yeah, we'll get it here as soon as... So far they haven't said it, so no time coming across. And it's going to get Turbinator-like loud here. As we mentioned, the U3 was in the water. The Miss Ace Hardware presented by Grigg. So here's the speed. It was a 150. 150, so good laps, certainly, for Jamie Nielsen. He's, we talk about Jeff Bernard. He's learning a new boat. Certainly so is Jamie Nielsen. And it looks like these guys are getting more and more comfortable each time they run. But we've got the Turbinator, always a fan favorite. Kelly, coming right to you. The fans like the noise. It's bright red, and it's quick. Jimmy King behind the wheel.
Jimmy King from Grigg's Ace Hardware heading down the back straightaway. Not much speed up right now, but I'm sure when he gets down to number 3 and 4, Michael will probably let it straightaway on the straightaway there to you.
And News Radio 610 KONA proud to be on board the 3, the Turbinator, heading up the back stretch into Freedom Equipment Rental, turn number 3.
That was the first thing I checked this morning when I got in the pit area. I went over and found the 610 KONA marking on the boat.
So Jimmy King, first effort on the H1 Unlimited season, and Do we know, will they be heading to Seattle, Brad?
I am sure they will not. If a sponsor comes up, Big Ed will leave here, and Ed Cooper, the boat owner, and he will head to Seattle. But that all sponsor contingent. Right now, I've heard nothing, so he'll be headed back to Evansville after the Tri-Cities. So Tri-Cities race fans, you should feel very fortunate. And remember Mr. Griggs and the Ace Hardware. He's the one who brings them out here each year so we can have a fan favorite boat on the water.
Do you know how many engines that they brought with them?
I do not, but
because that's always vital. It seems like they always go through at least one.
They do, and they ran pretty hard this morning. I can tell you from right here where I'm standing, I can see 3 engines, and that counts the one that's in the boat. I can see that one, but I can see 2 more in the back of the truck. Next time I walk by, I'll take a look.
Coming out 2 down your way, Michael, but this morning was out here. He had very consistent runs all the time around the track.
And Brad, you were talking about this 2.5 mile course that we run here.
Yep.
And if you're in lane number 3, for example, and you turn a lap of 140 miles per hour, that means if you were in lane number 3, you actually went closer to 146 miles per hour.
It makes a big difference. And
well, it's 15 feet out each lane.
Well, actually, it's 30 feet.
Okay, I see, yeah.
Each lane is 30 feet, but when we ran the calculations, we figured, okay, the boat's running the center of the boat 15 feet off the buoy. In other words, running the dead center in the middle of the lane. And
hey, Brad.
Yes.
I'm sorry to interrupt you and your math nerdery, but I've got Jamie Nielsen here. And Jamie, how's the water feeling out there?
Oh, it's beautiful. I mean, it's a beautiful day for racing. The water couldn't be any better. And to get to have the whole river to ourselves, that was awesome. So some great sea time out there. Got really comfortable in this J&D's presented by Reliable Tool Boat, and really looking forward to continuing this weekend.
Now, you're wearing your GP stuff right now, so you're obviously bouncing between 2 boats. What sort of challenges does that present for you?
Well, each boat is completely different. I mean, there's really not a lot of similarities between the 2 other than that you're turning left and going in a circle. So, but it's good. It's good. I mean, it's both boats I've driven before, you know, both classes, and I'm ready. I mean, I think I've prepared well to this point with my experience, and looking forward to competing in both classes.
Numbers you were putting up a little north of 150, so you and your crew have got to be pretty happy with those test numbers.
Yeah, and we're still getting better. I mean, that was my second time in this boat getting wet, so you know, each time I think I as a driver am going to get more comfortable. There's a lot more left in the boat. It's just up to me to get it out of it. So I think as the weekend goes on, you'll see those numbers come up a little bit and be right in the hunt.
All right, get in the shade and stay cool. Thanks for the time.
Hey, thanks a lot.
Brad, back to you.
So the Terminator heading to Tire Factory turn number 2, Kelly Cheatwood.
He's picked up the speed. Big rooster tail looked very smooth. Lane number 2 coming out of there, the exit pin down towards you, Michael. But his last 2 laps has been a little quicker and very strong and very stable here in the turns 1 and 2 down here.
147 miles an hour. And my person here is giving me the speeds. Had to put the camera down there to give me the 7s that time. But 147, and he's pulled his foot. Watch him, Michael, see if he doesn't do a timing run.
Freedom Equipment Rental turn number 3.
And we got a black flag on the race course.
So he'll be heading out.
That'll be the end of your period there.
Yep, 10:45 on the clock. So this will be his last time around. Yep, time and run as he hits the throttle at the exit pin, just before the exit pin of our Buffalo Brothers turn number 4 onto the front stretch. And heading across the Bosch Thermador start-finish line. Definitely he does not have he's backed his foot out of the throttle quite a bit.
Yeah, he has, and he'll bring it back here to the pit area. And I just want to finish on what we were talking about there with lap speeds and so forth. The other piece to the puzzle, it's a 2.5 mile track at Indianapolis that they run the race cars on, but the 2.5 miles is measured in the groove. So if you take a lap around the course, a lap around the track there at Indy, you're pretty much running 2.5 miles if you're staying in the groove. The difference here is the 2.5 mile race course is measured right at the top of each of the buoys. And obviously, unless you're plowing through all the buoys, you're doing something larger, or you're going some distance further than 2.5 miles. And that's when we led into, well, if a boat on the outside, how much faster would he have to go, etc. But the 2.5 miles is measured on the top of each of the buoys.
So let's go over this just real quick. At 150 miles per hour,
yep.
If you were out in lane number 3, you'd actually be going 155.3. miles per hour.
Yeah, based on some assumptions, but if you held lane 3 all the way around and 30 feet of lane space, and we figured it'd be 15, 45, and then 60 feet off the buoys being in lane 3, yeah. But the key being, it's substantially faster than the time you get recorded of 150.
Correct.
That's the deal there.
That's that extra distance around the course. So all of the rescue and patrol boats, and we thank all the volunteers that are out here for water follies to make sure that everybody's safe on the water, are heading back towards the shoreline now as we gear up for air show coverage that's coming up on the HAPO Over the River Air Show, and we'll bring you all of the action here on News Radio 610 KONA. Thanks to the Port of Pasco, and now you can fly direct to LAX from Pasco. What an easy way to make your travel plans with no layovers. It's straight to LAX after out of the Pasco Tri-Cities Airport. Thanks to Farmers Exchange, 215 West Canal Drive in downtown Kennewick. Not just the service, but they've got fantastic sales of all the power equipment that you've ever wanted. And new machines are ready to roll with assembly, initial gas and oil fill, same-day local area pickup and delivery is available in the Tri-Cities. And they have the one-stop livestock and pet food shopping for you, too, including hay, alfalfa, straw bales, all in the main store. Take a time out. More of our coverage coming up on News Radio 610 KONA and 610KONA.com.